Contention 1, the status quo of Obama's back in 2011 withdrawal from Afghanistan with the 2014 deadline, but conditions preclude a substantial draw on Code 125 this year. We're to be in transition back in legal again to bring troops home. I'm not sure this could be any more of a sleep the president wants to offer. The American people rose to you nothing. I would describe the situation provides accurate assessment and pace of the withdrawal as the key distinction. Should 8 and 10 Biden declared 2014's drop dead. Obama said 2011 turn withdrawal did begin in 2011. We're going to be in transition. That will be half the pace, but with which we got over defense circumstances. We will be in transition 2014 Saturday. Everyone's agreed upon the president sets public back time for enlistment. As long as we pursue a nation building strategy, we will never leave Afghanistan wall. Intent Obama host countries talent call for withdrawal by 2014's legislation. President telling people that the mission won't take long. It's told the secret strategy is to Clinton and paid out more Clinton. The troops will leave Bosnia for 12 months. Obama the same thing telling increased command by citizens only temporarily back away from the deadline. He could interface in secret 2014 they will be in years easier to change course than that's the plan. The United States federal government should phase out its military presence in Afghanistan to a level consistent with the counter-terrorism force posture contention to instability. We will lose the war when advocates are on crack and use flawed metrics fear and 11 advocates can turn to flip all choices flawed something to defense task force to sustain quickly legitimized better often by business to find recognition long-term concerns or cutting brain counter-terrorism will more effectively security objective D. This calls from a small deployment force that focus on Al-Qaeda including drug tax militancy and sustained policy and smaller whose president Afghanistan stock run a big point favor of striking terrorists rather than students welcome back into so should show that Afghanistan security president as Afghans may be more open sharing information with just like when efforts scale back Al-Qaeda President Brown Afghanistan those who may remain committed to violence may be targets the counter-terrorism campaign 20 may not apply to Afghans at war insurgents or will cannot be executed flow population reduce combat operation could really increase the amount of quality of intelligence to have better enable fighting Al-Qaeda military victory is impossible without political legitimacy. New system of governance is key to prevent separatist civil conflict. Marquee intend these political strikes to price different attempt to alleviate the Afghanistan program to the government to itself and keep the point that the Afghans the Taliban should get to lose the after Taliban couple of executive force community, but the Yankees broken many influential Afghans feel uneven frustrated with the U.S. for propping up the last referendum election with last trial this year. The Afghan regulation can president the Taliban and serve the U.S. Which May will become next policy for political officials working next from the Turkey sector into Afghanistan, South East countrywide civil war policy makers, and to often quit Afghan fall through narrow question what to president Afghanistan to problems government structure and to call for structural political change. Afghanistan not been taken seriously. U.S. officials not in a position to make conflict potential political from hands on manipulation might not be necessary. Washington but offer green light Afghan opposition leaders would be willing to launch the reform process of the Afghan liberal reform process that needs to change the structure of the Afghan government ways that foster national leader no that's for U.S. core interest in the country. The impact is anarchy. It's try or die for a new strategy test on way and then engage holders needs community according to great autonomy to the aggressive greater emphasis in Afghanistan decentralized country government corruption and powers. The anti-Afghan force lack legitimacy have created any future politics more like relationship with states and group states self-determination important to do so. The long-term political balance and process of developing negotiation inflation uncertainty and self-potential movements that are in the image of Washington crisis separate populist sport would have a greater chance of success in separatist war for cause of Taliban spill over to Pakistan, Haas and 10 Pashin said if that Afghanistan will come a third to Pakistan any countries resist by mothers living together as well as also when countries and Pakistan resist for fear partial decentralization from here would be less emphasis building up the national army of the Afghan tradition would be clearly such for refugee U.S. could leave out to look for different Taliban and Islam with Jewish troops return home without Pashin minorities receive military and training. The result would be a patchwork with Taliban no that could be shown to use their first force to protect non-Pashin areas of Taliban when there be their historic and fighting Al-Qaeda back and that destabilizes Pakistan causes global nuclear war pit 9 Pakistan so the HKS with nuclear weapons right in the middle of the most dangerous here with escalating violence over there as well potential to crack open Turkey to help Taliban meeting build shippers in the northwest Pakistan region D Pakistan collapse under the about the mountain threat to Taliban for the army makes it look for threats full of cancer defense and spreads Pakistan that affect officials concerned about the vulnerabilities of Pakistan including the potential role of such weapon transfer centers and dozen laboratories for fuel production for the Pakistan militants ever they see in toppling preferring could be galvanized military actions for China or Russia leaks and falling enhanced terrorist organization does place the entire world on a collision course and unimaginable disaster in Pakistan's nuclear arsenal is vulnerable to attack and terrorism safety measures to wage warfare intended U.S. believe U.S. cable Pakistan nuclear reveals years and going through the nuclear terrorism toys and deliberately paid on Western government safety measures not if I kept paid to net kept back both countries nuclear off spread of the intersection terror proliferation nowhere nor after evidence Pakistan Pakistan terrorist revealed and WikiLeaks skip there nuclear sons Pakistan dropped the adding to assessment South Carolina 90 war had fulfilling civilians several missile reduce possible weapon producer level of safety and security much lower terrorist recent amount of constraint attacks on nuclear weapons facilities including the nuclear missile storage facilities who just had to take control of nuclear weapons at developing community doing information lack of detailed knowledge where nuclear weapons are still kill the collusion something 130,000 people involved in the Pakistani nuclear arms complex and hiding through cannot be the basis for leading a long-term policy and instability also spills over in Central Asia causes conflict draws in Russia global intent negative shifts 5th century about the Taliban fighting faith never tried to use it in the group conflict and leads to Central Asia armed actions these have has to be the conflict triangle Central Asia deaths and conflict suffered from public government services been rising type refugee education may be drawn if that happens heavily Russia will be drawn in treaty obligations made it the most probable snare for nuclear escalation blame into UK Moscow but Moldova future tradition investigated by the Russian EU precinct Russian to be dragging the confrontation for having conflict president will look back to great potential escalation get the recognition of Russian nuclear threat threat makes the injury the road war higher than any else and shift to light force to solve these to tribal engagement regionalism gets long way tend experience of Tajikistan internationally efforts to stabilize country that can allowing local borders between Marsh on the general control of the area national level mass approach directly to parts of it and limits of both trade both facility less being wide fortress can protect exposures you know we're playing out the situation after the American Constitution to Afghanistan will have to come to the Afghanistan trips gain plus painful will be in decentralization key to stability with Gopaji and I word like self and before party good enough government to reach practical military has the president has short time frame phase. Although the research has always been able to good enough to ensure model safety for the country. The army to execute world government to significant government the presidential level government to demonstrate success and security infrastructure development becomes valuable asset and a focus. Counter-terror mission creates a smooth transition long intent counter prosperity airfields, brief specific to the naval force collecting until rapidly target al-Qaeda forces. Work to the task force capture targets direct acts and infrastructure like the battle task force and the rocket force full class. Unappreciated protection from these special forces too. Build effective revolution, montage and good support these groups able to support the expansion of militant outside of fashion people files not contain will enable collective intel support offers this require a total force of 13,000 military personnel. Contention 2 is a gem. The nuclear sustainable or too far ahead for anyone to catch up or small. For tonight, the U.S. was have the world defense for the second left the last one was setting. The reason has been for operations to start from the Afghanistan dash. Illusions of these stars and split pieces of the world for the state. There's no basically you multitude of environmental perform preventive state trajectory from your team psychological personal assessment program produced. Act analysis, but the Iraq War. But the Iraq War period of backlash against the hegemonic grand strategy remaining in Afghanistan prolongs the perception of the long war kit field in Afghanistan across what's in the long war flung through the record of Obama's disastrous war with helping people who were fighting Afghanistan. The Iraq because Obama's suppressing the law only protesting public courage, but the reason that have the same words that he started last month the Vietnam America's fasting community raising fears on popular war conflict. He promised Obama starts the Obama's going to own Afghanistan going to start cutting all the parts of the agenda, and that plus his isolationist backsliding. We will abandon foreign policy leadership. Krakowski and 10 years to pull back war. Response to back not exactly to win Afghanistan, but we'll take this decade more blood church of videos people government to exhaustion constantly take one after this seats in U.S. bidding. Foreign policy leadership use already overextended the use needs to serve people, they serve political goodwill, military force be ready. For serious crisis, we have viewers to spiritual challenges, they involve community crisis, work state, nuclear development challenges, human rights, government control good, a strong American hard parts funding health of the U.S. Just the greatest and good world serves to be an ideal structures, criminals, and qualities do not possess, as long as it's tied down by land wars in Asia and primacy is key to global peace. The only threat to order is if we allow to collapse the inner and sexual tension, we chance to build what threats exist no matter what will emerge conflict conventional military countries this requires individual on the ground presence not achieved, whereby offshore volunteers, primacy schemes, extensive influence, free coalition, self-proliferation, every take the future monitoring regime, human rights, democratization, with Jewish power, local politics, happening, media, international slash dark ages, blood run slash Hitler, 60 the order, separate versailles, American primacy, use multiple relationships, playing Greece, use real estate, Egypt, South Korea, Japan, India, Pakistan, Mexico does produce great powers, American power, what's to give the U.S. stability, ability to spread the ideology of liberals, most states come to heavily likelihood, no conflict to reduce, get more transparent, likely resolve the example, the U.S. is favored, green economic liberal, worldwide never characteristic, free trade, protected rights, mobility, capital, economic forces, American interest is to be competitive, maximize efficiencies and growth. And withdrawal just more to restore domestic consensus to our foreign policy capture control with Senate. Opinion surveys reveal why gap in Democrats public electric field differences between bank globalization may support themselves from the global market. The public has second thoughts. Let's go. Other countries' global security commitments. 49% of the public believe the U.S. should manage their business. High response over 46% of the public believe the U.S. should focus on international states and zero restoring. Domestic incidents require more discriminating direct structure with commitment back on political needs far powerful. To pursue modern transparency with that towards the joyous domestic support then to pursue an overly ambitious statecraft that polarized the nation needs and uncertain rules that the benefit instead of use engagement Obama appears to appreciate the need for political solvency to use foreign policy community to bringing down force levels in Afghanistan.
Okay, so what wars has Hedge solved?
What wars?
Yes.
Warfare evidence says that it keeps relationships aligned between geopolitical rivals and particular areas of the world. I think the examples used are like South Korea, Japan, China.
Why can't they have regional balancing with each other? Like why can't South Korea and Japan write some sort of treaty that prevents them from fighting? Why is the U.S. necessary? Why is the U.S. necessary? Like why can't South Korea and Japan write a treaty?
Well, I mean,
together?
I can give you an example from recent news. China has had territorial conflicts with Japan. Russia has had territorial conflicts with Japan in the Senkaku Islands.
Yeah, and after that happened, Japan arrested the people that went to Senkaku Islands.
Right, and we
China
actually
didn't do
sent
anything.
diplomats. We sent Clinton and a number of members of the State Department to go mediate that conflict.
Well, that doesn't seem like military presence then checking that conflict.
Right. So it's not military presence.
Well, let's
it's the influence that we get from having incredible.
Let's say the public demands isolationism, right? Why can't we still send Hillary Clinton to talk to China?
Right, and our Christian Truewood's evidence actually assumes that and says that we will no longer have the flexibility in our foreign policy to intervene into international conflicts. People are no longer willing to get involved.
Alright, that's fine. So, how do you solve Pakistani state collapse if the Pakistan government is still supporting the Taliban?
We don't solve Pakistani state collapse in as much as we prevent it from occurring. So, well, it's not like we create a presence that prevents Pakistan from ever becoming destabilized. That's true.
And how do you solve it? If Pakistan collapse is inevitable, then why should the judge vote F?
The argument is that the Taliban is crossing the porous border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, and we're pushing them over the border.
Yeah, they've already crossed though. Like once the F happens, why would they come back to Afghanistan?
It's not like crossing. That's why it's a porous border. They flee over the border, which
And the
and
Pakistan
the probability
military
of
houses them.
conflict in that area increases linearly as we continue
Yeah,
to
and
mount
Pakistan
operations
houses
in the
them.
south.
What incentive would they have to leave once the app happened if the Pakistani government is housing them? It seems like that's a great stronghold for them to have operations.
What incentive do they have to leave?
Yeah, they've already they flee to Pakistan. The Pakistani government helps them in Pakistan. Why would they come back to Afghanistan?
That's actually not true. The argument is that they have the capacity to collude with members of the government if there is regional instability and those members of the government have an incentive to cooperate with them.
They do have an incentive. They're afraid of the Indian government coming into Afghanistan, so they want the Taliban on their side. It's a clear incentive for the Pakistani government. How do you solve your
The Pakistani government does not overtly cooperate with the Taliban.
That's just
That's
false.
factually
They've
incorrect.
talked to the United States about that. That's fine though. So how also on the sort of stability arguments, why would Russia have an incentive to fight in a Central Asian war? Like when 9/11 happened, countries didn't fight over the
Our
civilian
blank evidence says
Afghans.
that Russia would be forced to protect and defend its sphere of influence in the region if
Well, that's
Tajikistan
in
and
2000, right?
Azerbaijan, right,
It's
and
in
it's
2000.
specifically
So, in
describing
2001
conflict in Tajikistan and Azerbaijan.
Okay, sure.
If that were to occur,
In
Russia would
2001, there was tons of instability in Afghanistan. Russia not only did not intervene,
Right,
there was also not
Afghanistan
a
is
war.
not necessarily Central Asia. Evidence is specific to instability to the north of Afghanistan.
What's going to happen in Tajikistan that the assholes?
It will collapse.
It's 4 off.